Hello everyone, Chef Jesse here on a Monday. How's everybody doing today? Well, anyway, folks, wait, give me a second. I gotta check something. So what we're gonna have today is some pork chops. I usually cook the pork chops on top of the stove in a cast iron skillet with some garlic and what have you. I have some today. I have some oven fry, which is like a shake and bake. So I haven't decided. So this is like a last minute thing. I don't know if I'm gonna cook it in with the shake and bake or with just the garlic, because they're thick pork chops actually, and we have not eaten these in a long time. And these things look like steaks; they're real thick. So I don't know how they're gonna come out, but hopefully. So I have about 10 minutes to decide if it's gonna be coated with the oven fry or just gonna cook them like this, with garlic and and seasoning, and but they're real thick. They're thick. They look like steaks. I'm telling you, they're real thick. So anyway. That's what's on the menu today. We're gonna do some tomato salad, and in case you guys have never seen this tomato salad that I make, it's actually I picked this up a couple of years ago from a friend of mine. She knows who she is, and she made this, and she lives in Jersey, and I've liked it ever since. Basically what is this? It's cilantro, tomato cilantro salad. I dice up my tomatoes, I put it into a bowl, I chop up some cilantro, throw it in, I use some olive oil, some sea salt, a little bit of garlic, maybe some type of Parmesan cheese on it, and it's great. So anyway, once again, I'm using this big, huge cutting board, which is nice because it's actually higher, and believe it or not, I'm not leaning over that much. So anyway, because my back is giving me trouble. So I'm just gonna dice these tomatoes. Right? I'm gonna dice them up like this. Oh, this cutting board is great. It slides right on the dice. And okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. So we're dicing up the tomatoes. Putting them in a bowl. You can make a lot of this. You can make whatever. It's only sort of giving an eye to two people. So I got a big tomato, and the big tomato might work, but we'll see what happens. If not, I have another tomato, but I think this might do. So turn it around, dice it up. Okay, there we go. Okay, and okay. So there we go. I think we might have enough tomato. One tomato might do. You don't want to do too much, but you don't want too little, so you're like in between. But it looks like I'm gonna make it. Okay, so again, dice up my tomatoes. There you go. Always use a nice sharp knife. Watch your fingers, and just chop. Okay. Okay. Sometimes. Okay. There we go. Just make sure. And just be careful. Tomatoes are like slippery, so they slip. So just make sure you don't slip it on your finger. And you cut your finger. You don't want to cut. You don't want to salad with fingers, right? Okay. There you go. So I think this might do. One big tomato we should do. Should be enough for us. Okay, let's move that over there. Okay, there we go. So yeah. So anyway, folks, let me continue cooking up this tomato, and then I'm going to by then, within less than 5 minutes, I'm going to decide what we're gonna do with the tomato, with the pork chops. Are we gonna put them in the breading, or are we just gonna cook them in the stove top on a cast iron skillet, and then put it in the oven and finish them off? I think it's better, right? It's quicker, actually, and I think So I think I just decided to cook them up the way I usually cook them up, in this sauce with some garlic and some butter, and just create a nice sauce, and that So I think that's what we're gonna do. So when I come back from this commercial break, I'm gonna show you how it's done. The tomato, the garlic sauce. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah. So there we go. I like that. Flip it around. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Okay, there we go. The tomato goes in here. Whoa, okay. Yeah. So there we go. Okay, so let me go on a break and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my tomatoes, and I just washed my, I like to wash fruits and vegetables and stuff, because, in the supermarket, you get this flies that fly on top of this stuff and everything. So I washed my cilantro, I washed it, rinsed it out, and I'm just gonna cut it up. I know this is solid. This cutting board is solid because it doesn't make any noise. Like, look at that, no noise. Oh. So we chop up the cilantro. Okay. I just want to chop it up. Okay. Look at that. Oh man, yeah, look at that. Okay. Okay, just shaking a little bit, but that's okay. Okay. So chop it up as finely as you can, with stems and all. Yeah. Brush it into the, let me just make sure this is all chopped up. Okay. Okay, and then just put it into the tomato. Very simple, okay? Just pick it up, throw it into the tomato. Okay. Oh, nothing like fresh herbs and spices. Oh, the smell of the cilantro, you should be here. It smells delicious. Okay. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna wash out this cutting board. Is so heavy, but it's good. I mean, I think I'm gonna have fun with this cutting board. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. And these cutting boards, I wash them once in a while. I know they talk about wooden cutting boards no good, but I wash this with I use Clorox. You know, I use chlorine. I wash it with soap and water, rinse it out, and then I condition it with this oil it's for cutting boards. So, you know, and you know, some people, I like an old-fashioned cutting board, wooden cutting board. You know, I've seen all the reports, something online about bacteria and all that stuff. You know, if you clean this every day like I do, you should not worry about bacteria. Okay? But you know, some people will tell you, oh no, you can't use wood. You know, well, wooden cutting boards have been around since the beginning of time. You know, and in the old meat markets and everything, people use cutting boards, and I'm pretty sure they didn't clean them away. You clean them when you're at home, so I don't think there's any. As long as you clean it, nice. Like I said, I use chlorine. I wash with soap and water, hot water, soap. I think you're good. I think you're pretty good. Okay, so. Let's get some garlic for this thing here, and we're gonna be in business. So now we're gonna go get the garlic. I got some miced garlic that I bought this already made. So, and like I said, I'm gonna use about let's measure this. Okay, we're gonna do about a tablespoon. Okay, so we're gonna do about a tablespoon, a heaping tablespoon. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we're gonna get some olive oil. We're gonna get some good olive oil. Let me see. Pomperene. Okay, so we're gonna put in first. We're gonna start off with 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, and then we're just gonna mix this up in here. And this should be good. 3 tablespoons, depending how much you're making. I think this is good. Okay, so mix it up as good as best as possible. Use 2 spoons. Or fork and spoon or whatever. Just make sure you get that oil in there, all that nice. Okay, get it in there. So about 3 or 4 tablespoons of the oil. You don't want to overpower it, so I used about 3 tablespoons of oil. And it should be good. Okay, and then we're gonna put some sea salt. Let's get the sea salt. Okay. Okay, let me get the sea salt out of here. Okay. There we go. Oh, yeah, I like that sound of the sea salt. Okay. So, we're going to spin this around. There we go. There we go. We're going to mix this up. Look at that. Look how nice. What you do is you chill this before serving it. Chill it in the fridge for a little while. So, and it should be good. I'm going to go get some cheese now and throw some cheese in there, some Parmesan cheese. Let's see if we can find this in my refrigerator. Sauce, jam, good stuff. It's in here. I can't get it. It's impossible to get this out of here. Okay. I got some fresh Parmesan cheese that I bought over at Whole Foods. So I'm gonna use about a tablespoon. Okay, just top it a little bit. There you go, just to top that. Oh, look how good that looks. Okay, and you're gonna put this in the fridge and just chill it, you know, before you serve the dinner. So now I'm gonna chill this in the fridge. Okay, that's gonna be good. And I'm gonna chill this. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start boiling some water to make some brown rice with just a little bit, not too much. And then I'm gonna clean this cutting board. Okay, ooh, this thing is heavy. So this is not my usual cutting board. And at the end of the night, I wash it again. When everything is done, I wash it. And I wash it and I make sure that it dries up so it doesn't warp or anything like that. But believe me, this thing is like about 5 inches thick. This is not gonna warp anytime soon. I'm telling you, this is like a pedestal. And it's second. I mean, you know, it's a gift for my colleague of mine. I gave it to. I went to visit him, and he's selling his apartment. And I told him, oh, I like the cutting board. He said, take it. You know, I said, listen, I don't want to leave you without a cutting board. He said, no, I don't want. We got a cutting board. I said, go ask your girlfriend first. And I think I guess she said, yeah. And she said, you know, let him have it. So I got it, and you know, I really appreciate this. It's big. It looks kind of funny because it's kind of high right there, but I'll get used to it. But it's great. It's cut up. And this is a solid one. So anyway, so we're gonna start off some water here. Gonna make some rice, some brown rice, just a little bit, not much. And let's see, we're gonna put about a teaspoon of salt in there. Don't worry about it. And then I'm going to create a garlic sauce. I'm going to show you in just a minute. I'm going to cook up the steak, like steaks, the pork chops in it. And after they're done, I'm going to throw it into the oven for a little while. And that's it. Dinner's done. Okay, folks. So I got some olive oil here just to cover the bottom of the pan. And I got 3 cloves of garlic here, which I'm going to give it a little whack, just so it can get some flavor out of it. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Just to get the flavors out. There we go. There we go. Let's get those flavors out. Then we're going to use some miced garlic as well. Okay. A couple of teaspoons. Don't worry about it. And then we're going to use some butter. I got about 2 tablespoons of butter there. And I'm going to melt this all together and create a sauce where I'm going to cook my pork chops. Okay, so this is getting nice and hot. Now I'm gonna sear these. I'm gonna treat these pork chops like they were steaks. I'm gonna sear the sides, okay, like this. I got 3 nice sized pork chops here that look like steaks. I'm just gonna lay them on the side here. I just want to sort of sear the sides. There we go. I like that. That's the sound I like. Okay, let's put these things. I'm gonna sear the sides, get that nice. There we go, look at that. And then we're gonna flip them, cook them around. Then we're gonna cook them and throw them into the oven. Oh, so I'm searing the sides, the fat, nice and get a nice color in it. Then I'm gonna cook them side to side, and then I'm gonna throw them in the oven, maybe about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure they're cooked, and I'm gonna create the sauce, the garlic sauce, and then the garlic honey sauce and everything. And then now we're gonna go to the table. Oh, so look at the pork chops. They're looking nice. Okay. And then I'm going to continue cooking them in the oven. I'm just browning them on the stove top, sort of braising them. Now I'm going to create the garlic sauce and everything else. There we go. We're going to do this. We're going to put the butter in there and the garlic. Okay. There we go. We're going to put some honey in here. These are honey garlic. There you go. Just put a couple of tablespoons of some honey in there. Okay. And there we go. Get the flavors are going in there. There we go. Put that in there. And mix this up. Make sure that you get all of those, those juices and that honey in there. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh man. So now they're starting to simmer in that garlicky honey sauce. Yeah. Look how nice these things look. Ooh. Okay. like I said, we're gonna finish these off. If I can turn these on, the thing's alive. I'm gonna finish these off in the oven, okay, for a few minutes. Okay. I set our timer to about 15 minutes or so. And we're gonna finish these off at 300 in the oven. Okay, let's make sure we get all that, those juices in there, and that garlic, and that flavoring in there. Look how nice this looks. Ooh, look at that. Oh, good. Look how you look. We're gonna put this in the oven. Okay, there we go. Oh man, there we go. We set the timer. Okay, my stove is a little dirty. I gotta clean the stove. My new stove. Okay. Let me get to that. Okay. So, I'll be right back. Okay, folks. So I cooked up my pork chops. I put them in the oven. I put some butter in there. I put some garlic. I put a little bit of honey in there, and it's cooking up. It's creating this nice gravy in there, and we are going to take it out. Actually, I just shut the oven off, and let's take the pork chops out so they can continue cooling off, and then we're gonna go to the table. My rice is just about done in about 4 minutes, and then we're gonna go to the table. Okay, folks, so everything's done. Everything seems like it's done. Let's go to the table. Okay, folks, so very simple. What we did today was I made these big, thick pork chops. Unusual in here. We usually have like the regular pork chops, but these were nice and thick, looking like a steak. And I cooked them like a steak. I cooked them in the cast iron skillet. I browned the sides. I braised them sort of, and then I threw them into the oven. And I created a garlic honey sauce, and I topped it with some parsley flakes, and I have a tomato salad, a tomato cilantro salad that contains diced, if you watch the video, diced tomatoes, chopped up cilantro, a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and some cheese to top it, and garlic. Right? I did put the garlic in there, yes I did. And then we got some sea salt, and we have some, this stuff is great, this simple balsamic reduction, it goes on everything. And yeah, so let's turn around and show you. So there goes the tomato salad with the, oh, look at that. Okay. And the table looks like this. And there goes your pork chop and the brown rice. And there goes what we had at the other end. Yep, it looks good, it smells good. So let's see how these pork chops turn out. Hopefully they're nice and tender. They're all kind of thick, so they're kind of tricky. So, oh yeah, folks. So today, Monday, start of a new week, right? This is let me see. I don't have much to do. What do I do? I have Wednesday. I gotta go somewhere to the Bronx, and then Thursday I'm going to a ceremony. I'll cook something before I leave. I go to a ceremony at police headquarters, and then it really starts my ordeal. The week after, I have to go for surgery. I don't know how I'm gonna cook. We'll see what happens. Maybe Gilbert would have to help me. Like Julia Childs. If you're not old enough, you don't know Julia Childs. But she was like one of the most famous first chefs that had a show on TV. She had this accent. She took me for a sucker. My whole life I thought she was French. And it turned out she was born in Nebraska or something. But for some reason she gave this thing out that she was French, and a lot of people loved it. Even made a movie about it, Julia Childs, and yeah, a series. And I actually went to a museum in DC. And they had her kitchen on view. They had her kitchen, and I took a picture with a poster of her, Julia Childs. So anyway, at the end, she got older. I guess she, whatever it was, her condition, she had a chef helping out. Actually, it was Chef Pepin, I think his name. Chef Pepin used to help her out. They used to do the show together. So maybe Gil will have to play Chef Pepin, and I'll play Julia Child, and we'll cook together. But we'll see what happens. It's gonna be the operation is on my left hand, which is good because I am a righty, so that helps a little bit. But I just won't be able to wash dishes and like that, right? But I'll be able to do it. We'll make it happen. I don't know, maybe a couple of days, but we'll make it happen. So anyway, folks, that's what's going on next week, and so wish me luck on that. this is the first for me. I've had 15 operations on my feet, so now I guess they're tired of my feet. Now I'm moving up to my hands. They're actually rearranging. I looked it up. It's kind of a crazy surgery. I have a thing called trigger finger, where they're gonna cut the sleeve so that the tendon moves up and down easily, freely. My finger doesn't freeze up, close. And then in the other, on 2 operations actually, the one on my palm here will be rearranging the nerve to the other thigh. And I read about that. It's kind of crazy. They take the nerve and they flip it over and they put it like on top of the muscles. And I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm a chef, a comedian. But that's what more or less is what they're gonna do. So it sounds painful. My hand. I hope they give me something for pain. Even though I do tolerate with all these things, all these years of operations, I tolerate. And if you ever go through kidney stones, you can tolerate anything. It's like childbirth. Oh my God. So anyway, folks, that's the story. So I hope you guys have a great week. And the weather's getting better. I was outside. It was in the 70s. It's going to be in the 70s this whole week. And don't get discouraged. Summer's not over. It'll probably, it'll go up. It'll go up. Pretty soon, it will, the temperature will change. Some kids in some states are going to school already. My great nephews actually started school today. My nephew's 2 kids. They live in Virginia, and today was the first day of school. I saw pictures and stuff, so it's crazy, right? So they probably ended up school before. But whatever it is, some kids in some states out there are going to school. I remember going to school. It was always in September. It was we dreaded when September came. Oh, back to school, Then it was fun though because you got new clothes and all kind of stuff. But hey, it's the way it is, right? Kids gotta go to school. Hopefully they stay in school. They learn something. Because I don't know, the youth of today, I'm sorry to say, unfortunately, we live in a time where I don't know what kids learn. And I know there's people say, well, what we learned years ago wasn't accurate. It wasn't, but we've come to learn that stories about Christopher Columbus and stories about discovery and Lewis and Clark expedition, and remember Lewis and Clark expedition, and all that good stuff. Very changed to the way they wanted you to learn it. But nevertheless, we learned it, and that's the way it is. We learned it. We went to school. I went to school. I didn't like school. I was forced to go to school. You better go to school. The neat fact of saying I'm not going back to school. Forget it. But anyway, kids nowadays control their parents, unfortunately. But anyway, I hope they get an education. I hope my nephews get an education, and that's all there is to it. So anyway, folks, you hate school, and then when you leave it, it was to tell you, man, it was good days. You had your friends, and you went to see your friends every day, and you miss them. I'm fortunate to keep in contact with 2 good friends of mine that went to high school with me that to this day we still talk on Facebook. And it's amazing that after 40 something years that we're still, and even though they live in other states and stuff, one of them I believe, you still feel like they're around the corner because Facebook does that to people. And there's a lot of people who friendships don't last that long. You go to school with somebody and then you don't see them ever again. But I'm glad to have 2 friends that you guys know who you are. And we keep in touch, we joke around, make comments. And it's very rare to keep friends like that for so many years, and I really appreciate it. But I just hope that I can get together with them when they hang out, reminisce about the good old times, and I believe they were good times. So thanks for me, just so far it tastes good, the pork chop's good, and see you guys tomorrow.